Hey, welcome back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. We're back here with another trade request, and we've got an exciting one for me. Nick Haynes of the GWS Football Club has officially announced he wants to be a Blue, and he's a delisted free agent, which means we don't have to pay anything in these unrestricted. So that is exciting. So who is Nick Haynes? 32-year-old intercept defender who has been known to play in that taller role. Been injured, only managed the 8 games this year, 211 games in total, but averaging just under 7 marks and 6 marks total. A real interesting predicament. And I know a lot of Carlton fans are going to have a cry about this one. I know my fan base pretty well. Even though you're getting something for free, they aren't going to be happy. Averaging the 2 intercept marks, he has had injuries, and it has to be said, they have limited his football, let's be honest. We're not going to lie about it. Former pick 7, though, this guy here is a real culture signing for me. I looked at it, and I don't hate it. I know people will hate it, and that's fair enough. You be my guest. But I actually really like this signing, and I'll tell you for why. I think it adds a standard. I think at the moment when Carlton are trying to develop backmen, it's an issue. Now, when people are talking about injuries, it's worth noting he played 20 games the year before, 17-21, 17-23-24. He's had a few injuries this year, that is fair to say, right? And I'm not going to escape that. However, he has been pretty amiable after that before getting dropped. And when you look at the VFL form this year, it was very strong in VFL, particularly if you go back and watch the North Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton and GWS game. He really dominated them games. So I'm looking at Nick Haynes to come here and be a culture signing, be an educator on field. And it is really common when you look throughout the sport. We talked about Jack Darling in an early video, how that culture signing is really important. When you look at Carlton's key backs, Wheeler, if he's there pissing about teaching young kids how to play the game in training, that's a bit of a nightmare when he's got so much responsibility. Nick Haynes comes in, he makes that backline better, which makes it a happier place for players like Billy Wilson, players like them young players who are going to feed off someone good. And this is a real clear indication to me that Michael Voss wants to play one tall Jacob Wheater and then 2 medium-sized players around him. And he adds some real good competition here. At Nick Haynes' best, he's definitely a very solid footballer. And one player I'm really excited about him learning off is a guy called Lachyjack. Very similar assets and very similar skill sets to each other. Nick Haynes has been there. He's been that AA rank. He's been that elite player. So I really do like this acquisition. When you look at him in the VFL this year as well, you really saw that leadership. He's a very big talker. He's one of the loudest on the field. And that kind of little learning there is a real good one. When you're paying nothing for him, the way I look at it is it's Marchbank replacement. Let's look at that. People are looking at it as a Lewis Young replacement. Lewis Young hasn't left. If that happens, let's have that conversation. What we know as fact now, and for me, he played 8 games this year. He's already fitter than Marchbank's ever been. Played 20 games the year before. Marchbank hasn't played 20 games since freaking Jesus. The Duke of Edinburgh was knocking about. So for me, I really like this acquisition. It's a culture one. It's a standard setter. And although he is 32 and he's knocking on a bit, it's an invaluable experience that we don't have on the list. McGovern's got to worry about getting fit. Marchbank's not there anymore. Wheater is our senior, most leading player. Sam Durden's got to worry about, if he does stay, keeping fit. This allows Nick Haynes, and I'm really excited about what this does to Matt Duffy coming on the list, who I suspect will play a little bit down back next year. What it does to Billy Wilson, who's learning his craft. He's going to have a real solid acquisition. That's something that last year you really saw with our halfbacks. They had to work overtime defending when that's not going to be the case when they're seniors. We're looking for that counter punch. So I like this acquisition. I think this is a real good acquisition by Carlton. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you are against it, but genuinely think outside the square. Get your head out of the sand. You can't always recruit A-grade players. I think it's a standard setter. I like it. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring to the football club. Peace, love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella